What's going on, guys? So, Greg and Stacy here with, help me with this, because this is a new this is the first time I'm presenting this new name. Our unscripted keto lifestyle.
Yes.
All right. So, this is our first video since our name change and since dedicating to the full keto lifestyle. So, everybody who is important to us or cares about us or are looking for an opportunity to lose some weight themselves have brought up a bunch of questions. And we get to ask these questions all the time. It just never fails. When we tell them that we're doing keto or that we have changed to a keto diet, they don't always know what that means.
And the number one and most obvious question is, what is keto? Basically, when someone asks me what keto is, I kind of explain to them it's really a different way of eating where you concentrate on 75 of your calories from fat, 20% from protein, and 5% from carbs. They start processing things a little bit. And usually the first question, well, isn't that bad for you? Isn't that worse? Fats are bad, right? And then you have to go through the process of explaining to them that, you know, in the standard American diet, fats have been notoriously bad. The fats themselves aren't bad. What is really bad about fats is that if you're introducing them with a high amount of carbohydrates, fats are digested basically last, so they pretty much get turned into fat. They are still perplexed. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's unhealthy, and it just kind of blows their mind.
Fats are unhealthy for you, are they not?
And I'll even admit that when Greg first started talking about it, my first thought was, okay, you're eating fat. That's just going to make you fatter. And, you know, it's a valid, you know, point A to point B.
Based on everything that we've learned through our schooling and conversations and even trips to the doctor, you know, they're like, oh, yeah. I mean, isn't that the whole reason why everything's specified at low fat? Well,
unfortunately, low fat equals more sugar.
So the next question that we often ask after they have that whole process worked through is, what do you eat? I just say, basically, it's no bread, no sugars.
Yeah.
And no processed food of any kind.
Yeah, I usually just say low carb, no processed, refined, whatever. No refined sugar, no real sugar, I guess.
Yeah.
And basically no grains. So
this point, they're like, oh, isn't that like Atkins? Mm-hmm. You know, this is like the fourth question that we get. Oh, isn't that like Atkins? Well, no, it's not. And the reason it's not is because Atkins is high protein, low carb. And this keto is high fat, moderate protein, low carb. And the biggest differentiating between that is Atkins, you may or may not actually enter ketosis depending on the amount of protein you're putting in your body. Some people never actually will enter ketosis because of the fact that you're putting so much protein that your body's breaking down the protein for sugar and your body just keeps running like that. So your body's a very complex thing. So the number 5 question. So they've gone through pretty much, these previous 4 have pretty much gone in order, right? So they ask the one, they go to the next, they kind of like, as they're starting, unless they really don't care at this point, they've lost complete interest and have walked away. Those few that remain, they'll be like, so isn't like this the opposite of what you should be doing to lose weight? Mm-hmm. Especially when they see me with a piece of bacon or eggs or, you know, I'm like, I need fuel, you know, this is now my energy, you know, and you want to make sure it's a good bacon. Doesn't have a whole bunch of garbage in it. But
they ask if it's sustainable, or, you know, how do you do it? How do you keep going with it? And it's a commitment, and it's basically, you know, if you want it to be successful, it's a lifetime commitment. So, you know, you gotta put in that time for the planning, which I don't like to do. I don't like to plan. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants person. But, you know, we put in the planning. We decide every weekend what we're going to have for the coming week. And, you know, sometimes things happen and we don't end up having, quite often actually that happens, we don't end up having what we planned because something pops up or, oh, hey, we've got this in the fridge already and it's going to go bad if we don't use it. So, yeah, plan, but also plan for interruptions.
Stick with what you know. So, I mean, we're branching out now into foods to sort of sample into other areas and see what they taste like and see if we can, you know, make some keto bread and make some keto cookies and, you know, those types of things. I mean, this is boring. You know, I would find it boring. Stacy would find it boring.
Yeah.
Because we like variety, but you could really easy have the same meal of the week every day. And you can have the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I know people that actually do pretty much that. They don't deviate. They stay, this is what I'm having for breakfast, this is what I'm having for lunch, this is what I'm having for dinner, or this is what I'm having for lunch, this is what I'm having for dinner, or however they're going to do it. This is what they know it's exactly within what macros they want to eat, it's exactly how they're going to survive, etc. You know, and that's how it becomes sustainable. Now, there are people out there that are going to go, well, you can't eat that for the rest of your life. Well, no, you can't. But when you first start keto, there's so much to take on that...
Going back to the whole science experiment.
Right. So there's so much to understand. There's so much to feel. There's so much to, you know, work through that keep it simple. That's my biggest advice to you guys. Keep it simple, and that's why it's sustainable. I mean, we're branching out now, and we're trying different things. And, I mean, I'm constantly tweaking my macros. I'm having different things all the time. But it does add stress to me. Like, I know what I'm eating, and I'll wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like having eggs today. What am I going to eat instead? Or, you know, I don't want sausage and mushrooms today. I want, you know, something else. I want hot wings for lunch. Well, if I have hot wings for lunch, then my dinner is going to be completely shot. So at least having at least one solid meal planned every day, so know what you're basically getting yourself into in the evening, and what you're going to finish out your day as, is probably the biggest thing.
If the planning is difficult for you, like it is for me, it really is easiest to just say, okay, I'm going to have the same thing for lunch every day of the week.
Change it every week.
Same thing for breakfast, and then maybe switch up the meals, the dinners. And then once you are comfortable, you know, figuring out your macros and getting into that, that's when you start changing things around and be like, okay, you know, maybe I'll try this today, or maybe I'll try that tomorrow.
So there you guys have it. The top, I guess it's what, 8 or 9?
Most often questions
that we get asked by our friends and family about our diet. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Stay keto.